I'm Mike.
I'm Jason.
This is Snake Envy. You love gopher snakes.
Yep. Best snakes in the world.
I think, yes, I think we should just declare that as far as we're concerned, they are the best pet snake out there and highly, highly, highly underrated.
Yeah. Highly underrated, but obviously I'm biased. But
Well, yeah, but
I really do feel that way. So.
no, I think it's a hill worth dying on. If they check all the boxes, most gopher snakes, Sonorans really being the exception, are a manageable size. They're really no bigger than king snakes and corn snakes that everybody loves.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're a little girthier, but generally, 3.5 to 5 feet. Sonorans, yes, you can get in. They tend to get into that
big.
6 foot range, but so they're good size. They're big, but they're not unmanageable. No different than most of the colubrids out there people love.
Easy to handle.
Easy to handle, very easy
eat.
to socialize, and they eat. They eat. I would argue from my own personal experience, they even eat better than king snakes.
That was good. I guess it depends what kind of king
right
snake.
up there, yeah.
Like a cow, common king.
Yeah, but they're right up there. Very rare that gopher snakes are going to let you down when it comes to feeding. Now, the one thing everybody's going to bring up is, yeah, but they're hissy and they have an attitude and they're defensive. But
so are hognose.
Yeah, so
And they're the most popular snake right now.
So are a ton of rat snakes that are popular. There's a lot of snakes out there. Now, what I think the greatest thing about their defensive behavior is they rarely musk.
Rarely musk, yeah.
Rarely
I got musked the other day but it was a total surprise. The snake was crawling on the ground and yeah.
Even in the wild, we rarely get musked by gopher snakes.
Rarely get pooped on.
We actually
rarely get bit.
We rarely get bitten. They're more likely to be very vocal and hiss and display and raise their heads.
But that's what's cool about them.
I agree. I think that personality is amazing. And the reality is they're very easy to socialize once you have them in. Even the ones we bring out of the wild
are perfect pets.
Yes. Yes, and even the ones we bring out of the wild, they socialize very, very quickly. I would argue if you're comparing them to a California king or some of the rat snakes out there that are popular, they're every bit as easy to socialize, if not more. And personally, even if I did rarely get bitten by a gopher snake, I would rather take a bite than get musked for 2-3 months solid every time you pick up your king snake.
Well, and especially like when you get like a cow king. It bites you, it's going to chew on you.
Yeah.
Where a gopher snake's going to bite and let go immediately.
Yeah, and that's if they bite. Yeah. Quite often it's a little nose bump. If even. Usually they just vocalize, put on a show, and that's it. So they check all of the boxes. Now, one of the things that we're going to highlight over the next few weeks for you guys is we're going to go through all the subspecies. We're going to go through all of the color morphs. We're going to go through they're so varied as well. And if you do want a snake that's even a little smaller than some of the others, we're going to talk about Pacifics at some point. They even tend to be just slightly smaller than
I've seen monsters, but
yeah. But there's a wide variety of size. There's a wide variety of colors and patterns and morphs.
And patterns and colors inside of just being normal.
Yeah, exactly.
And from locality to locality. So.
And the normals are beautiful. And localities. There's a ton of localities as well where you get a lot of variance. So, all right. So we're going to kick it off with Great Basin gophers. So for those of you not living out west, not familiar with the Great Basin, it covers a pretty good sized area. It's basically like Eastern California and into Idaho and Nevada and
the
Utah.
Rockies, the Grand Canyon, Central California, all the way up to Canada. I mean, pretty much the whole state of Nevada and Utah are engulfed in that range.
Exactly. Parts of Idaho.
A lot of Idaho.
So it's a wide range. Great Basins cover a ton of ground. Now, on the plus side, that means you get a lot of variety depending on where they're from. And they're living in a variety of environments, although it's primarily desert. You're going to get good natural variability even within the wild types.
Even right in the same locality.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've told you guys about our unique locality here in Utah, where we're even seeing aberrancies up to and including virtually patternless snakes. So there's a lot going on. Let's start with localities. What are 3 or 4 of the more popular localities that are out there for Great Basins?
I would probably say the Phelan Blonde, that one, just because it's a blonde, it's a color phase and a locality. So that one's probably right up at the top, and they're just beautiful.
They are. So lighter background colors.
Southern California.
Yeah, into southern Nevada, but primarily California, like Phelan.
Yeah, like this, yeah.
Yeah. So lighter, they're on the light end of the color range. Now, one thing I've noticed, and you tell me if I'm wrong, as you go north and you go east, like into Idaho, they get really dark.
So from what I've noticed over 30 years, they tend to be a little bigger down south. They tend to be cleaner and brighter down south. As you go up north, and maybe it's because cooler temperatures, the sun, the angles, they get a lot of black tipping and darkness to them.
Yeah.
So
you'll see a lot less contrast. Like even here in Utah, if you go down to southern Utah, you'll see a ton of contrast, lighter, brighter background colors. And then as you come up here, the background colors and the pattern colors aren't quite as different. You just see less contrast. And so it's kind of a darker background, darker pattern, a little more black, but it's primarily those dark browns. And you've got some amazing, you call them Metallica, even here in Utah where you have orange.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of beautiful ones in Utah. Like
the yellows and the oranges come out.
I still want to go find like more localities and different colors and all that. I would say the Phelan Blonde, Phelan California. That's probably the most popular. After that, it's just like I don't know what's popular, but like I'm working with Wayne counties. We'll have some this summer. Or next summer.
And is that California as well?
No, that is Utah, central Utah.
Oh, central Utah.
Yeah, that's where a lot of orange comes from. That's where the Metallica is derived out of.
I have lived in Utah now for about a decade, and I've never heard of that.
And then we got our Utah counties, our Gopher Gulches.
The Gopher Gulches are going to be very cool. And I think this coming spring, we have the first potential to maybe see some aberrants because we've got a new male and a new female that I think we might get, some stuff here in the spring, but we still have a patternless female adult eluding us out there. Can't find her. So we're waiting to raise up some young ones. So we may be a year or two away, but this spring might be the most interesting. And lots of aberrancy, both in color and, because again, northern Utah, they tend to be dark. We see a whole wide range of color there, yellows, oranges, some lighter backgrounds, and then pattern all over the place. Tiger stripes, patternless. So this spring might be interesting in that regard. Okay, so localities, what about the morphs? Predominantly, what is really popular among the Great Basins out there?
Like the Metallicas. And I haven't really even I've sold a couple years ago, but and then redid it, and kind of, we're going to be, next summer, we're going to have some available for the public. It's an interesting name. The name derives from these snakes have a metallic look. And so I'm just a metalhead, and I'm like Metallica.
So it's almost iridescent, but it's different.
it's got the orange.
Yeah.
But the story is, I was making orange gopher snakes, and then one popped out. And that's what happens when you add, you know, outside blood and new blood and wild blood. Stuff happens, like, especially when you start line breeding. But anyways, one of the babies hatched out silver and black.
Wow.
The first one. And I was just like, Anery, where is this? Why? It's not in here. Like, and
doesn't make any sense.
And it's probably not an anery because they hold orange. They get intense. This thing was silver and black. It shed once, and I seen a pink cast to it, and it just grew into that and
orange from there.
Wow, it turned into amazing. So the Metallica's kind of got this pinkish orange metallic sheen. Look, that's where the name derives.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to explain that one a little bit. But then, and we have like on all these, like I have all the knowledge on all these color morphs of Great Basins, like where they came from, where they were found, and all that information. Hopefully we can touch on some of those. But I'll run down the color morphs real quick. There's albinos, and I've got a bunch of calls from all, like Wyoming, like all around, and people's caught albinos. And I try to acquire them, and I can never, nobody's coming off of them, but
they're not widely available out there in captivity.
No,
yet,
and they've been around for a long
them
time. They've been around for 25 years. Wow. Anyways, albinos, there's aneries, there's patternless, there's white sides, motleys. What else? I mean, I'm trying to think.
So they run the gamut.
There's a lot, and there might be even something I'm forgetting, but I mean, the ones I want to find, the morphs that we need in this trade, in this hobby for this species is a true hypo, a true T+ albino,
yeah,
and exanthic. There's a few that we still need, but
so there's still some.
But there's still there's plenty, and there's a guy, a friend up in Idaho who has it's undescribed, but he calls it thinks it's maybe a leucistic. I think it's something different. I don't know what it would be. So there's a few, and a lot of this stuff will be available next year.
And we should mention, for those who don't know, who are unfamiliar, that's the other kind of unique thing about gopher snakes, Pituophis as a whole, is that they do change color as they age. So the babies are typically born fairly plain, and then all your colors start to come in.
And it just depends,
as they grow, yeah. And so and that makes it challenging as a breeder, because sometimes you're not entirely sure what you have when they're born. You're just thinking, this one doesn't look quite like I'm expecting. But you have to wait a little bit to say, this is what it is.
If there's anything odd, I always want to see how it turns out.
Yeah.
The albino was found out at Fish Springs out in Tooele County by a guy fishing, a local guy fishing, walking the banks, and found a little hatchling. That's where our albino line came from. The anery, the patternless, there's a biologist. He used to be up at the University of Utah. Then he moved to, I believe, Boise area. I talked to this guy on the phone about this, and this is 30 years ago. He went out to check out a rattlesnake den in the spring out in Tooele, and he found a patternless in the den. And out of that, the anery popped out of that anery.
Wow.
And so maybe there's two, I haven't even tried.
And those patternless predate by a long ways the patternless that we're finding out at Gopher Gulch. And you've had a decade or more to work with those, and you've refined that one.
We've had orange.
They're very patternless. The ones we have in the gulch are still a little dirty in
Oh,
the
yeah.
background. They just don't have the traditional pattern. It's all washed out, but it's kind of staticky, kind of dirty.
And even the aneries, they hatch out anery and their eyes are even gray. Then they turn brown. They
Interesting.
turn ugly.
Wow.
They don't look like aneries, but it obviously is a color morph because we mixed it with an albino. We made the snows. We know what that looks like. And so it does something to it.
So you've touched on it, but what's still missing as far as Great Basins go? Sounds like T-positive albinos, so you've got negatives.
True hypo.
And true hypo.
Xanthic would be nice.
Xanthic.
And then just any oddities like,
So food for thought. Anybody out there sitting on something,
or you know,
that we don't know about, reach out. If you come across something weird in the wild, we want to know about it. All right, let's go take a look at some of these. I recognize these.
These are the Metallicas. This is my favorite guy out of the bunch. This one's pretty too, but he's in the blue. But it's a very neat orange and black look. Now this is a Metallica. You can see the sheen on it. This is what I would call a het Metallica. Not the sheen on it, and it's more of it's just a darker orange. Let's see. Here's our gulches. Gopher Gulch.
So here in northern Utah, this is that patternless male from this year, isn't it?
This is the one that John had.
Oh, okay. So this is an older one from last year. But as we were talking about, patternless, but there's a lot of noise there in the background. That's something that will get cleaned up in captivity.
Let's see. Here's another boy.
The traditional pattern, that chain pattern's just gone.
This is the Phelan Blonde.
California, Southern California.
Now this is a Wayne County locality.
So the origins of the Metallica, correct?
This is where the orange comes from. And I've seen amazing ones in the wild. A lot of them are light like this. You have to line breed it to get it to come out. It's work. It's
yeah.
But it's fairly reliable.
That orange back on the tail, though, is pretty amazing.
And you're like, well, that's pretty small. This is 3 years old.
3-year-old Great Basin, yeah.
Very similar to the bull snake, though, with the patternless gene and this tipping in here.
Now, this is the one you were mentioning from Tooele, Utah, which is just west of where we are, toward Nevada.
It's west of Salt Lake City.
West of Salt Lake area. Now, let's just, for comparison, pull out one of those Gopher Gulch patternless again and show how much cleaner this one is after you've done some work. So here's the one from here in northern Utah, not far from where we're filming, and then this nice cleaner one is from west of here, but how many years worth of line breeding to clean up that patternless is that representing?
It didn't need to be cleaned up. It just was like that.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is it in the wild.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is the wild caught specimen.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not. That was 30-something years ago.
Okay. But that's how those looked out of the wild. Look at the color variant, the difference.
Yeah.
And it's what? I don't know, 50 miles?
Yeah.
50 miles from Gopher Gulch out to Tooele, maybe?
Probably.
And look how much darker, how much lighter and brighter. So again, there's a lot of natural variance that's already out there. So the Gulch ones, like we're saying, kind of a dirty background, but that can be cleaned up.
I mean, I don't consider the gulches patternless. I don't, not at all. To me, they're aberrants.
Yeah, they're aberrant. We're calling it patternless just because kind of that chain pattern's gone, and everything kind of just runs together. But you can definitely see the pattern in the background, and that's what we're curious to find out. Can that be cleaned up?
Oh, I definitely think with some line breeding, some refining, that we could clean up this locality.
And I have a female at home, by the way, that's a couple years old. Much less pattern than this one.
Yeah, they're like snowflakes. They're super variable.
Definitely more of a true patternless. Cool. Who's hissing at me? I don't think we mentioned this one. What do we have?
This is what we call a snow. It's not your typical snow. It's probably not your typical anery. And that's probably why.
Any locality on this one? Or
mixed, because you got an albino and an anery.
Albino and anery.
Both came out of Tooele County, though.
Interesting. So Utah. Very nice. All right, lots to see. So that's only one subspecies, and we've got all that variety.
Yeah.
More to come.